Buddy.
Hi, Simone.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. Okay. Hmm. Welcome. All right. So, where is everybody calling from today?
I'm in Norway.
Yes. Wonderful. And Lauren, it looks like. Nice to meet you.
I am in India. It's nice to meet you, Simone. Hi, Siri.
Oh,
Hi, Lauren. Wow.
do you guys know each other?
Uh, we're both Insight Timer teachers through the Insight Timer group.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
wonderful.
I
Okay.
spent some time in Norway, but I didn't quite get to exactly where she
No,
was.
but you're very close. I remember
Yeah.
Skjervøy. That's very close. And then you're
Uh-huh.
far away.
Awesome. Well, we have a really beautiful uh, webinar in front of us today. There's a lot of really juicy stuff. We're going to learn how to have spirit help us get um, more engagement and more sales from our posts. So I am going to go ahead and mute everybody just during the presentation, but then we'll have a chance to talk at the end. Or if you could mute yourselves, that would be helpful. And all right, so welcome. Before we start, you guys can see the slides, right? Yes? Okay, perfect. And I'm just going to keep the chat open here. Make sure that you have a pen and a notebook. And also, of course, you're going to need a tarot or an oracle deck. So if you have that, just go ahead and put yes in the chat. And while you're doing that, yes, awesome, Lauren. Yay. Okay. Yay, perfect. Awesome. Okay. So you guys probably already know a little bit about me. I know Siri does for sure, but I'll just give a little bit of background about who I am. I'm Simone. I have two lovely children who are 6 years old and 2 years old. And I love homesteading. It's my ultimate goal to have our own farm and to live off of the land. As you may know, I'm also a tarot reader and an astrologist. And I went to college back in the day for humanities. So my degree was in languages. I learned English, French, and Spanish. And I've lived in 4 different countries. So I'm sort of a citizen of the world and I've heard a lot of different things on half the slide. Thank you, Sari. Thank you. How's that? Is that better? And tarot, of course, is yes, perfect. Thank you. Tarot, of course, is my fourth language. And so it's one of the ways that I talk to spirit in order to bring us information to help us get engagement and more sales from our social media posts. And I just want to preface all of this by saying that I'm not against AI in all of its forms. I just think that we need to be careful because there are intellectual property issues with AI. And I know it's a useful tool when you're trying to generate your social media, but I would beware of that. And also, it's not your voice. That's, I think, probably the biggest piece is that people are using AI for their social media because social media is a hungry beast. Like we all know that, right? We create, and it gets consumed so quickly. And so hopefully this webinar will help you fix that. Yay. And I just want to say that my spirituality, it's a type of spirituality because I'm a Virgo, it's very down to earth. So if you ever catch me using phrases that you don't understand, I never want spirituality to be inaccessible to people. So just feel free to ask, like, what is a spirit guide, Simone? And I will tell you because, it's not about gatekeeping. It's not about seeming more exciting or more spiritual than it is. It's about connecting spirit to real people. And I also practice consent in marketing. So you'll notice that as I'm explaining things like social posts, I'm using it through the lens of consent instead of bypassing people's consent and marketing to them in a way that feels like that type of marketing is all over the place, right? Like every no is just a, sorry, I feel so sick even saying it. Like every no is just an opportunity to convince them that it's a yes. And that's taught in traditional sales call information. And I feel sick just even saying that. Like, think if we said that in our normal lives. So when I practice marketing, it's from a place of consent. All right. All right. So tell me in the chat, what obstacles do you come up against getting your social media posts scheduled for your business? I'm going to have a quick drink of water as you guys are typing, and then I'm going to tell you about exactly what we're going to learn today. But yeah, what is the hardest part about that? Some days I have thousands of things to say. Some days I have none. I'm wanting to paint instead. Yes. Wonderful. Awesome. So what we're going to learn about today is how to use your tarot or oracle to generate content for social media without having to rely on AI, and which is why I kind of nicknamed it Tarot GPT, although it is not AI, what we're talking about today. It's UI, it's universal intelligence, and it's so much better. All right, and tell me in the chat, how would it feel in your body? What would it look like to have an infinite source of content ideas guided by spirit, scheduled out so that you can like take a break, or like you have that day where you have no ideas or you'd rather paint. You know what would that feel like to have it all just really scheduled out and feels amazing. Now I need a fairy to keep up with them. Very good. Hmm. Awesome. So I think the main thing that we want to touch on today is that you want to explain things in your social media posts in a way that people can see the value. And that value is getting paid, right? Because if you don't have any income in your business, a little bit of tough love, if you don't have enough income in your business, then you can't take days off. Then you can't even really have a business, right? So income is important, and there's nothing wrong with wanting it. It's nothing to do with how much you deserve as a person. It's nothing to do with how you, what, the value of your work even is. It's just about getting the cash flowing. And to be able to do that, you need to show people the value of your work in a way that makes sense to them. All right. Yes. Okay. So for you, why is getting clarity on your messaging so important? Go ahead and tell me in the chat, why is getting clarity on your messaging so important? And I'll give you guys some ideas here. Help more people. Um, you know, I know that for those of you who are here live or even watching the replay of this, you are probably attracted to my work because you are a soulful and caring person. This is who you are, and this is the work that you want to do. And so, Spirit wants that work to get to more people. That's the point of our lives here. And running a business is one of the most, is the biggest and sometimes the most annoying way of improving spiritually. Really, truly. And so the more people that you get to help, the longer you get to do it. And you would want to make it your full-time business. Mhm. No more free sessions. This one came up in the last Tarot GPT webinar that I did. And this is so beautiful because whenever I see this, no more free sessions, I think, of course, like you've been giving so much, and that's really beautiful. However, you do also need to receive in order to create an income in your business, right? Having a steady stream of clients. And that's what Tarot GPT is going to be doing. And then something even bigger. So I would love it if you told me in the chat, and if you're watching the replay, if you tell me in the comments, what is your big why? What is the big reason that you want to get your social media sorted, get more followers, more engagement, more sales? What is this all leading for in your life? Let me know in the chat. And as you're typing, I'm going to go on to the next slide, but I still want to hear your hashtag why. Okay. All right. So we're going to get down into it. We're going to talk about drawing the cards for post inspiration. We're going to talk about what the different cards mean and how to interpret them in terms of what is spirit wanting you to say when you pull the card, so that when you sit down to write your posts out, it will be just super quick, right? Because you don't have to sit there ideating, you don't have to sit there paying like serious attention to everything. Awesome. And Lauren says, now I want my business to fund my travel and research and build my tribe. Yes. And your tribe wants to be with you too, right? Like, yes. Eventually, I want to create a spiritual center that has an off-grid farm. Oh my gosh. Well, I will definitely visit that spiritual center. Yay. Okay. So, have you ever faced this situation to be financially independent? Oh, yes. That is so juicy. That's a good one, Siri. It's so, so good. So good. Right? I feel that in my soul. Okay, so have you ever felt this? That you're going to post something for your business, but like you're facing this thing and you're not sure what to put. And then the next day, like, oh, you post it, maybe you get a few likes, but then the next day you're back at it and you're back at it and you're back at it. And that is sort of robbing you of the creative energy that you could be putting in other spaces. It really sucks, to be fair. And it's compounded over time. And so it's really it can get tiring. It can get tiring because you create, and it feels like it's going into the void. So enter the tarot. If you have your cards with you right now, you can go ahead and even just pull one and see what comes up for you. We're going to go through a basic understanding of how to interpret the cards, and then I'm going to give you some more specific instructions on how to interpret the cards. But you can also do this with an oracle deck, okay? So for instance, the card that I pulled there, that little guy, the Six of Wands. So you could see this is a triumphant sort of card. That's the vibe we're going for the post. So if this one, I were to say, okay, Spirit, what should I say today? Full deck or just the major arcana? Full deck is perfectly fine. There are 78 cards in the traditional tarot, and that's 78 Facebook posts or Instagram posts, wherever you hang out. And so if you go through the deck one time, you'll have a beautiful array of content, which we'll see in a moment. But you have a beautiful array of content that gets people from just noticing who you are to purchasing from you. All right. So in this one, we can start to see that there is, I'm talking about this one here on the screen, the Hermit. We can see that there's an old man. He's holding a staff. There's a bright light and he's looking down, but it's winter. He looks cold. He looks really inward. That's the Hermit card. You could see that he's alone. And so in this instance, we can take all of these keywords that we've gotten just by looking at the card, and we can translate them into what we think Spirit wants us to say. So for this, it could be that you're acknowledging Daughter of Cups and Ace of Pentacles from the Wild and Unknown Tarot. Brilliant. So take a look at that card, Siri. And Lauren, if you've got one, look at your card as well. And in mine, we've got this here. We can see different things. Start to take those pieces out. I can see a light. I can see a staff. I can see a star. I can see a cloak, right? And then go through, okay, well, I can see that he's thinking. So this is talking about our inner world. I can see that there's a light in the dark. So what I want to do is invite people to have hope for the future. That's what the star represents. So you can do this, but there's actually even an easier way. Yeah, you can put everything into language in your own niche, or you can use a guidebook. So here's one that I have. All right. Very beautiful. I'll link it down below when I upload the replay. And it's just the Big Book of Tarot, but you can use any tarot guidebook. And also, all of the meanings for the cards are online. So if you do a quick search and you're like, what does the Hermit mean? You're going to get a list of words. That is a great Five of Cups from Druidcraft deck. Cool. We'll have to show each other these cards once we're finished. So yeah, you can just look up the meanings. Yeah. And there's also guidebooks for most Oracle decks. So if you have an Oracle deck, most of the time it comes with a guidebook. You can look in the guidebook and then you already have an idea of what your post should say. And yeah, so you have all of that. And you can take everything and put it into language from your own niche, which we're going to talk about in a second. Specifically for the tarot, which is why I like the tarot, but you can use any deck. You just have to figure out this specific spot. But specifically for the tarot, there are 5 different suits, right? The wands, the cups, the swords, the pentacles, and the major arcana. So I've split the suits into different areas of the client journey. Number 1, if you're trying to attract a new audience with your post, there's going to be a wand card that comes up. And if you have a cups card, what you're doing with that post is you're going to be building a relationship. If you have a swords card, what you're doing is guiding that person to making a purchasing decision. And if you have a pentacles card, you're going to be sharing about your paid work immediately. The major arcanas differ for each of the cards. So I'm going to show you a snippet from that in just a second. But that's the basic gist of it. So if I'm sitting down, I'm going to write my posts. And let's say the first card that shows up, okay, I've got a swords card. So in that post, I know that I'm going to guide their decision, help them feel supported, and inform them, give them information and communication on how to make a choice to work with me. Then the next one, and that's just one post, and it doesn't have to be long. Okay, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, actually, would you guys put in the comments section what your main social media platform is? But if you're on Instagram, let's say, and you're posting one post, oh, Substack, perfect. So if you're on Substack and you're posting a note, Substack, then Facebook. Oh, wonderful. Okay. So if you're on Substack and you're posting a note, then it's going to be a note that says, if you work with me, this is what will happen. This is what it looks like. This is information about that. And it's guiding the people who are already primed to work with you to make a decision to work with you. Answering questions. So then the next one you get is a cups. All right. And so the point of this post, this is your post for tomorrow. Okay, it could be a note or a full article, whatever. But in this note, you're just going to engage and foster trust, connect with people, build a relationship, build a community. This is taking people to understanding who you are and building that relationship, which is vitally important, especially if you're doing spiritual work, right? Then we've got the wands. So the wands card is going to tell us that this post is to attract new people. So we're increasing your reach. We're increasing the amount of people that are following you on Substack or Facebook or wherever. Yeah. And then finally, let's say we get a Pentacles card in. Ace of Pentacles, perfect. Now you're going to share specifically, just in this post, your offer with a link to purchase. Yeah. So if you're trying to upsell the Substack membership, what you're doing is you're putting a link for that membership in there, or however that works, right? And we're going to get into the major arcana. So if you're not sure, I would actually even just take the major arcana out first, and then you would know from these four what each post is going to do. Okay. I'm going to show you an example of some of the major arcana. Well, let's say we start out and we get the Fool card. Well, the Fool card, the energy is very quick, it's very short, it's playful, it's hopeful, excitement. And so I would say do a note if you're on Substack, a story if you're on Facebook, a short form video. And the purpose of this would be probably reach, or it could be inform. But I would say mostly reach. Yeah, reach. And so what you're doing with the Fool card, when you see the Fool card, is okay, well, I just really want to reach a wider audience. I'm not trying to sell at this exact moment, but I would like more people to follow me. And so I'm going to tell them about a leap of faith moment, a personal story, either yours or one of your clients if you have permission to use it, and about starting something new that you didn't know was going to work out, right? And then a call to action would be to follow or to engage. This is a reach post, one call to action per post, and that is follow me or like this post or restock it if you're on Substack. All right, so then the magician is another one for reach. Like I said, they vary in the major arcana, but the magician again would probably be short form video, or if you're on Substack, it could be a note, a pretty picture. And here I've said, motivate your audience to act, remind them of their own power, of their own capability. I mean, here's the magician card, it's got like all of this stuff here, the pentacle, the cups, the swords, the wands, the infinite sign. They have infinite power and they're able to do this. Okay, so that's the magician card. And then the call to action on that post would be follow or engage. If you liked this quote or mantra or affirmation, are you actually using are you actually sharing the card or just using it for inspiration and guidance? Just using it for inspiration and guidance, unless you are a tarot reader, I would say, but you can also share the card. Yeah, it's up to you. In this specific method, you don't have to show the card, but you sure can if you want to. Yeah. Great question. Thank you for asking. Yeah. All right. And then let's say you get the high priestess. She's the next one on there, and she's going to be a nurturing, and she's going to help you to share something from your heart, a little bit of vulnerability. This is not a space where you're selling to people. This is a space where you're connecting with them. But don't forget, we are also doing selling in the same amount as everything else. Okay. So sometimes we like to just hang out in the get more followers or engage them and nurture that trust, but also it's like the upper and the lower chakras, right? If we just give, but we don't have the financial support from the lower chakras, which is the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, and the heart chakra. Well, the heart is both, right? But if we don't feel grounded, we don't feel financially stable and secure, then it's going to be harder to support all of the heart, the giving, the voice, all of that stuff. That's the upper chakras. So we want a good mix of everything. Okay. All right. Any questions up to this point? All right. So if you just do the first step, you're still golden, right? But there is something that I would suggest you do, which is connecting your niche to the tarot. So you can actually sit down. We're going to take the hermit example that we did earlier, and we're going to say that this is a hairdresser, and her niche, she's decided, is women who have gone through a divorce recently and are feeling really low, and they want a sexy new look and a spiritual refresh. Okay, so that's her niche. And so taking the Hermit card, what kind of post would she write? And we have an example here. If you've been feeling lonely, remember that all you have chosen to honor. Remember all that you have chosen to honor by getting a divorce, right? There is hope for you. You can have someone to accompany you on that journey. Let's put in highlights. Let's wash away your worries, right? Adding the warmth of the star and the hope. Great. So there's an example, and you can use this with your niche. Okay. So just fit your niche in with the tarot. Let me know if you have any questions on that, if it wasn't clear enough. All right, then the step is just to prepare the posts at literally at lightning speed. Okay, because we don't want our nervous thoughts to get involved. Um, each piece of content is not going to shape, it's not like it's going to go viral necessarily. It might, of course, the spirit backing you, but it's like quantity is really important for social media, unfortunately. And so each post is just, it's not like we're going to spend 20 minutes on each post. It's like, here's a quick idea. Here's another quick idea. Here's another quick idea. Okay. So here we go. You're building a relationship with people poco a poco, as they say in my country, little by little. I'm not Spanish, I just live here. Okay, so not every post has to do the job of convincing and reaching and nurturing and inviting and giving all of the information. It can be one small post, one per day. Okay. You don't even need to warm up. So if you're like, oh, I really need to get my social media posts done, just sit down and get a blank document. So if you like to type, type. If you like to write, write. And pull out your deck. First one that comes up for me is, let's see. Yeah, the High Priestess in reverse. Well, you don't even have to use the reverse. You can just use it normally. All right, what does this card tell me? Well, it says, as we talked about earlier, we saw the High Priestess is talking to us about something very vulnerable, a safe space. And so I'm going to type a quick, like, little encouraging mantra or saying that I'm going to put it with some pretty like soft music. And I'm going to put it on a Facebook post with a picture of my face because my face is nurturing, right? That's it. Post, done, move on, right? So set a timer, see how many you can get done in 25 minutes or 5 minutes if you're not feeling it. I think once you get started, you're more likely to continue and keep going, but set a short timer and yeah, there you go. You can go back and check them later. So this is not when the editor is present. This is when the writer is present. Okay. So you can invite the editor back in. Don't worry. You don't have to post everything immediately after you write it. You can go back through and read it and make sure. Um, and then during that editing process, you're going to want to make sure that your voice is consistent across all channels. And I'll talk to you guys about that in a second, but has guiding pillars. It's you, your niche is clear. And remember, a confused mind doesn't buy. And I've gone through this a lot in my business. So hopefully I can share you that pain. And then once you've gone through the editing process, schedule it quickly. So use a scheduler. If you have one that you pay for, awesome. If you want recommendations, I have them. So feel free to just email me or comment on the video or comment in the chat, whatever the case, okay? Schedule them out so that you're not having to do it manually every single day. Okay, so if you do this with a tarot deck, you'll have 78 pieces of content. If you go through the deck, if you do it with an oracle deck, you could have 44 or 55 or whatever the oracle deck has. And you don't have to go through the whole deck in one sitting, of course. But you might want to just stop it and then get back into the deck so that you're making sure that you have a balance of different content pieces. Awesome. Okay. Then you're going to want to build up your savings account. Just like we build up our savings accounts to have financial security and abundance, we also build up our savings account for our social media posts so that your business does the work. Okay, Substack does not let notes be scheduled ahead of time, I don't think. All right, well, great. And then data. Okay. Well, a quick suggestion for a scheduler for Facebook is Metricool. You can schedule up to 50 posts per month on their free version, and you can schedule them from Facebook to Instagram to all of those different spaces. That one's free. You can also use the built-in Facebook scheduler, but to me, it's a little bit worse. But that's up to you. Meta has Meta, which is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, among other things. I think WhatsApp as well. They have their own built-in scheduler, so you can schedule out your posts in that way. But if you're on Substack, I don't know. You know, can you schedule out the articles on Substack? If you can do that, then I would say maybe your articles don't even have to be full articles. I don't know. And if not, all you're going to do is just open up a Google Doc and save them in there so that everything can be scheduled on Substack. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So you'll have to check that out. I'm not an expert on Substack. Yeah. Okay, cool. So schedule it out though, wherever you tend to do. And if not, if you can't schedule it out for whatever reason, put it in a Google Doc and then it's all there. So all of your content pieces for the next 2 months are there so that you could just go copy paste and you don't have to think too much about it. Because there will be days when you don't feel like it. Hmm? And that's just normal. That's being human, right? We're not machines. Save your work as you go. This is so important. Save it because the your sacred creative energy shouldn't be going to starting over with social media every single time you open it up. And I don't know if this is your case. I'm just saying this for anybody who's listening now or in the future. Save your creative energy for other things. Like, yeah. Okay. So save the posts. And then you go back, when you go back in and you start again, you have it halfway written. I wouldn't say use the exact post, but at least you have somewhere to draw from. So the first time you do this, you go through the tarot deck and you get an idea of what you want to say for each card. And then the next time you actually have posts written out so you can copy and paste portions of those posts for the next batch that you do. Okay. And then gather data. So important because, again, spirit helps us to get out there, get more engagement, get more eyeballs. It can help us to connect to the right people. But also, we are working with real humans. So it's not only the spiritual aspect, it's also the human aspect. So when a post does particularly well, pay attention to that, write it down, put it into, if you have a Google document, highlight that one. Mhm. And then rinse and repeat. Okay. Keep track of what in your journal or your messaging folder or your Google Doc or whatever, what converted, what got really good engagement, and specifically what converted, right? I call this clean as you cook. Okay. Any questions? And you can pop them in as we go. Um, Great. So it's not only the social media posts, but the tarot can help you do anything in your copywriting for your business. So it can help you decide what your unique selling position is, what makes you specifically unique, the value proposition of your offers. What is the thing that people are purchasing? What are they seeing that gives them the indication that it's worth their money? Tarot can also help you do that. It can help you craft your offers. So it can help you to know exactly what you're going to put. You know, is it a low ticket offer? Is it a high ticket offer? What is included in it? It can help you get your content pillars put together. So what do I talk about? What is the consistent work that I do? And it's so important that it stays consistent. Um, yeah. I'll just tell you a quick story. Like for the longest time, and you can still see this like everywhere on Instagram, like I made 14 different Instagram profiles. Like at first I was an English teacher and then um, I did like a cleaning channel and then a motherhood channel and then a writer's channel until I found my niche. And they're like even inside of my email system, it's like there's different lead magnets for all this different stuff. And I spent like 8 years doing that. And I'm laughing now because it's so sad. Like all of that time wasted, but it's an important lesson that I have now alchemized and can share with you guys. It's like just choose your niche. I swear. And even like once I was like, okay, I'm going to do spiritual business stuff, I was like, well, I can do tarot and astrology. And then it took a coach of mine to be like, well, which one is it? And she was right because once I chose tarot, then I was able to get more traction, like way more traction, way faster. Okay. And sell and actually sell. And then I would have people like, I had to redo a couple of readings at the beginning there because they're like, oh, I thought it was an astrology reading. I don't. And I was like, oh, shoot. And I had done a whole tarot reading. Right. So it's so important. Okay. And finally, this is my favorite part, which is the magic words part. This is so much fun. And some of you may have even sent me this word before, but I have a magic word that I have created with spirit to bring me the people who need to hear my message. And for me, that magic word is grapes. But you can make your own magic word. Okay. And this is just like if I put this word in the post or if I put an image of grapes. Sometimes I'll put that as a call to action, like, hey, if you'd like a free reading about this specific thing, then go ahead and DM me the word grapes. Okay? All right. So you can do that. All right. And there's just one common mistake that I want to highlight before we move on. And that is, do you believe the words that you're putting out there? So remember that if you're coming up with common feelings of like, oh, I just don't get to it, if you're telling yourself, oh, I'll get to it next week. If you're like I was doing, not being clear about the offer, it's like, oh, it's tarot, it's astrology, it's tarot, it's astrology. Um, then it's all sort of the root of believing in yourself. If you're sacking everything and starting over a bunch, I did that as well. I did all of these things. And so it's from this space of like, once I started to believe that I deserved it. I deserved to have sales and I deserved to have a business that supported me. Um, then the words flowed a lot more quickly. Of course, while you're working on those beliefs, remember that spirit is here to support you. So the tarot is a great tool for that. And you can kind of get into the high vibe space just by pulling the cards to make your social media. All right. Do you guys have any questions? I've got a very special offer for you. You may have seen this around. This is by far, and like when I told you guys that I chose tarot, this is by and far the biggest selling tarot reading that I do. And that's to nail your niche with insight. And this is a 20-minute reading. It's private reading, one-to-one. And you can answer 3 to 7, usually, questions on this paper. So what is my niche? Spirit steps in to give you that information. There are boxes on my screen. How's that? Okay. Can you see it all? All right. So yeah, so this is the reading. That's a special offer that I have for you today. Plus, as a special bonus for watching this webinar or being here today, what we do is we search out one specific block around getting your social media out there and we release it. So through the help of the tarot We identify what block comes in and then we release it. All right. So any questions so far about anything we've heard about the offer, about the method, anything that comes to mind at all? So while you're typing, and I literally would love to hear any questions. So even if you think it's like you're shy to say it or whatever, it could be that by you asking it, you're helping somebody else. So absolutely. Ask it. That's good for everybody. Okay. So to recap, today we learned how to use our tarot and oracle as an infinite way of generating content that is connected to source energy. If you're not sure what or when to post, go to your tarot deck. You can use just the pentacles, the cups, the wands, and the swords at this point and create content. Lauren, how often do you think we should aim for posting? Well, that's a great question. I would say, how often are you posting right now? That's my question. Can you walk us
I'm
through it? Go ahead.
I'm completely sporadic. When there's
Okay.
cool, exciting things going on, I post a lot, and when nothing's going on, I don't post at all. I'm very inconsistent, and
Then I would say could you try for daily? How would that feel?
yeah, especially if I could schedule it, that would be.
Yeah. Because you don't have to show up daily, right? You have to show up one afternoon and you have to get it all done when you're feeling it, and then you schedule it out. Hmm?
Yep.
Can you walk us through a typical posting ritual you use in short? Yes, I can. Yeah, I would say daily. How does that feel? Yeah, I would go for it. I mean, listen, if you're wanting to build, being top of mind is unfortunately kind of a necessity. It's just you have to show up and be visible. And so, yeah, and the outcomes of that is really, generating more interest in your business and helping more people. Mhm. Great. You learned how to interpret the tarot for social media. If you have Oracle, you can do the method that I showed you at the beginning of taking out specific parts of there, or you can just use the guidebook. You don't have to complicate it. The idea is quantity over quality. I don't want to say it that way, but the idea is quantity. And so it's not the most perfect, the most amazing post every single time. It's just, yeah. And if you have to, do shorter pieces as well. We also learned about the importance of having a solid foundation of messaging, being clear with your audience. Um, but spirit can help you in so many different ways, which we also looked there. And just as, a quick reminder, your work is important to the world. So if you don't believe that, then this is just that reminder for you. Whether you're here now, Lauren, Siri, or you're watching this in the future, Spirit wants you to have an abundant business and it wants you to experience all that you can in this lifetime because the more supported, the more financially secure you feel, the more income you have, the more you can show up for other people, the more you can show up for your own spiritual growth. And your spiritual growth is compounds and is infinite in this, exponential. So it's not just for you, yeah, it's for all the people who are around you, who see you. And so it's a positive thing and it's really, really good. It's good. And even though it can feel kind of scary to have a lot more attention on you or even to sell your services, like it can feel scary to do that. It can feel scary to commit to showing up every day. Uh, the good outweighs the bad, or the good outweighs the scary, rather. Okay? In my opinion. And I think Spirit wants to support you. I mean, I know I'm not familiar with your work, Lauren, but I know Siri's work. And fuck yeah, like I want that on like every TV screen. Okay. Yeah, it believes in what you have to offer. So if you're in a place where you just need reminding of how incredibly important the work that you do is, pull out your tarot deck and just shuffle through it. Shuffle through it. What does my audience need to hear today? Spirit wants to support you for that. Okay. Great. Any more questions? Oh, Siri had asked, what do I usually do? Typical posting ritual. All right. So let me just show you this really quickly, and then I'll show you a typical ritual. This is the reading that that I can help you to do. We can talk about all of those specific niche pieces. It's $10 and it's available for the next 72 hours. It's going to be, the coupon will expire after 72 hours. So you can still get it after 72 hours, but the price will increase. So not $10, 10 euros. I'm no longer living in America. That's a great deal. Plus, we do the bonus of identifying any of the blocks that may be stopping you from getting your posts out there, like a deserving block, or whatever, and we just get rid of it. We make a plan to get rid of it. And in some cases, we can even do it right there on the call. Okay, so that's that. Let me put that. I'm going to put it in the comments section really quickly in case you want the link right now. But also, you will get an email with it. So you don't have to like go purchase it right this exact minute. It's open for the next 72 hours. Okay, can you guys see my screen again? Hopefully. When do we schedule it? What time period? Great question. Thank you for asking that. I'm going on holiday on next Friday. So a week from today, and I'll be on holiday for the holidays for a couple of weeks. So if you book it now, you can do it next week anytime. I have a lot of different times open. Yeah, or if not, then it'll be after I'm coming back on the 8th of January because here in Spain we celebrate a specific holiday on the 7th of January, and then my kids are on the 6th of January, and then my kids are back at school on the 8th. So that's when I'll be back at work. And was that your question? Is that what you meant, Lauren?
Yes, because I'm in very intensive planning for 2026 and
Oh,
gathering
perfect.
all the tools. So
Yay, awesome.
yeah, so
Perfect.
this week would be great. January
Yes.
is too late.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a bunch of spots open on my schedule. So yeah, feel free. Okay. Yeah, so Siri had asked, what do I usually do to sit down and write social media posts? And that is the following. I put on a timer. So I use the Pomodoro technique, but you can use any amount of time that you know is good for you. And if you're not sure, a Pomodoro is a great way to do it. It's a 25-minute timer where you just sit down and hyper focus on this one specific thing and then do a little race with yourself. That's what I do. I'm like, how many posts can I just get on the page? Now I open a Google document and it's like a table, so they're each separated out, but you can use whatever you want. You could use like Asana or, good old paper and pen also. Um, and you just get it all out as fast as you can. And then you take a break for 5 minutes. That's the Pomodoro method. And then you stretch, get a glass of water, and then go back in for another 25 minutes. And then you're just pulling the cards. You get through as many as you possibly can. And then, depending on where you are, you may want to do a couple more. I would say the whole process, you can make it as short or as long, but always making sure that you have, as I outlined earlier, right? The getting everything onto the page process. There's no editor in that spot. This is just the writer, the creator, the artist. And then closing that, taking a break, getting some water, doing a little stretch, and then you can open in the editing process. And so again, I would set a timer, go through and just edit, but keeping it to that time, right? We're not in perfectionist mode. We're just in creation and birthing mode, right? And then once you've done the editing for 25 minutes or whatever, then take a break, get some water, and then get back to it and say, okay, now I've done the creation, I've done the editing, now I'm going to schedule it. And so it's those three parts every time you sit down to do it. And it doesn't matter how long you want to dedicate. Let's say you want to dedicate 5 minutes to creating posts, 5 minutes to editing, and 5 minutes to scheduling. Fine. Yeah. The time is up to you. If you're like, I'm really feeling it today, I'm going to do an hour of creating posts. Dope. Go for it. I love that for you. Right? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and also stop recording. And I didn't know you were here, honey. That's my husband. Oh, you're so sweet. Okay.